we back with another live stream. Let me go over here first. I got my cool shades on. You know what I'm saying? I've been wearing my shades last couple of days. I like my shades, man. I like my shades. Let me set everything up. Let me see. Let me go here first. This phone, well, that phone is dead. What's up, chat? What's up, chat? Let me know what's going on. How y'all doing? The thing, I got my monetization back. YouTube gave me my monetization back. I realized what I did wrong. You know what I'm saying? I realized what I did wrong. So I didn't have to. Wait, is everything ready to rock? Let me see. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, I didn't have to. Let me see. So I didn't have to. Hold on. I didn't have to erase every video. I wonder why. I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to make sure everything's straight. I didn't have to erase every video. I thought, because I didn't know when they gave me the reused content, I was trying to figure out what it was, right? And I'm not going to hook up this mic because something's going on with the mic. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of trouble with the mic this morning. But I didn't know what was going on when they took my monetization. I was trying to figure out why. And I was thinking. And I was like, man, what did I do out of the ordinary to make that happen? So I had to think. I was like, I did live stream the Adin Ross fight, right? I live streamed the whole thing, you know, and those boxing events and those football games and stuff like that, those are really, they'll get you for that. But usually they'll give you a strike or a warning, but they didn't do that to me. They just took my monetization. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give me no warning. Hello, over there on Kick. Appreciate you for joining. They didn't give me no warning. And I forgot to put my Kick handle in the screen. That's what I was planning to do. So y'all just bear with me. I think I'm gonna try to change that right now while I got the time, while we sit there just chilling. So just relax, hang out. You know what I'm saying? I need to change that like and subscribe on there. I need to put my Kick handle on there because I'm gonna start streaming from Kick, right? I'm streaming from Kick right now, but I'm gonna start doing Kick separate. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start doing Kick separate. I like Kick, you know. So back to my monetization. Well, I figured out why they took my monetization. I was like, what did I do out of the ordinary? Well, out of the ordinary, what I did was I streamed the Adin Ross fight, particularly the one where Ray J was fighting Johnny Manziel. I shouldn't have been watching Johnny Manziel anyway. Watch Stock Sniper. Johnny Manziel, you know, Texas, it's a Texas thing. It's a Longhorn thing. Hook 'em horns. We getting ready. Longhorns coming out the gate. Well, you know, it's a Texas Longhorn and it's a Texas A&M thing. I wasn't supposed to be looking at Johnny Manziel anyway, right? So after that, about 3-4 days later, boom, YouTube took my monetization with the reused content, right? Because I streamed that fight. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be streaming like boxing events, football, stuff like that. Usually, when that happens, they'll give you a strike, right? But they didn't give me a strike. They just took the whole thing. They took the whole monetization. So I was like, man, I had to figure it out. So I made the decision to erase that fight. You know what I'm saying? Which it was a good night. It was a good show. So I erased that brand risk fight. So you YouTubers out there, you know, we like to watch Adin Ross. We like to watch the brand risk fighting events. We like to stream them. Be very, very careful streaming those fights. YouTube will snatch you. You know, just so happened they took my whole monetization and I had to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So I figured it out. I reapplied. Boom, they kicked me back on just like that. I thought I was going to have to erase every video because I didn't know which one it was. But I just started thinking, I was like, it got to be the brand risk fight. You know what I'm saying? It has to be that. And guess what, chat? That's exactly what it was. So, you know, we got the monetization back, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Now we can focus. I'm really trying to focus on learning streaming, not just YouTube. It just made me think about a lot of different things, right? During this time, hey, Jacko 2010, it just made me think about a lot of different things, right? It made me think about streaming all together. You know what I'm saying? It made me think about more than just YouTube, you know, because I was basically stuck on YouTube, right? But what I found out since I've been streaming on Kick, right? Shout out to Charleston White. Shout out to Adin Ross, particularly Charleston White, because Charleston White basically told me, he basically said, you got to start streaming. You know what I'm saying? Kick and all, and Twitch. You know what I'm saying? And Kick, Twitch, Rumble, they are a lot friendlier. YouTube is strict and they pay better. You know what I'm saying? Like the memberships on YouTube, they take 50% of the money. The super chats on YouTube, they take 50% of the money. Over there on Kick, a subscriber is like a membership, right? And over there, the memberships, Kick only takes out 5% of the money. That's all they take. So if you got subscribers and members are the same thing on Kick. So for the people that's on YouTube, I ain't gonna say subscribers because you'll get confused. Because subscribers on YouTube is free, but subscribers on Kick is like memberships, right? And on the memberships on Kick, you get 95% and they only take the 5%. And then another thing about Kick is once you get monetized, you get everything rocking and rolling on Kick, you get paid by the hour. Get paid by the hour, Stock Sniper? Yes. On Kick, when you stream, like I'm streaming right now, if I stream, that's why if you on Kick, them dudes be streaming for a long time. They be streaming for a long time because they also getting paid by the hour. They're not only getting paid by the subscribers / memberships, they're also getting paid hourly. It's a lot of money over there on Twitch, chat. It's a lot of money over there. So all people that on YouTube, you got to look at other avenues. And Kick is a lot more content creator friendly. You can do a lot more. You know what I'm saying? With all the not all the hassles. So these 90 days, right? I've basically been trying to learn, how this streaming stuff is. Because I'm only like a junior. I had to learn a little bit more. So the 90 days, I've been learning about Kick, Twitch, different type of avenues. Kick is easier to get monetized. It don't take much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm liking Kick. I'm liking Kick. So we 9 minutes in on the stream. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Wherever you watching me from, if you on Kick, make sure you give it a heart. Because over there on Kick, hearts are like subscribers on YouTube. On YouTube, subscribers are free. So over there on Kick, subscribers are like followers. If you understand how I'm putting it. If you hit that heart button or hit that follow button on Kick, that's like subscribers on YouTube. But Kick subscribers are like memberships on YouTube. So if you see somebody on Kick and they say subscribe, you got to pay for that. But if you hit the heart button or the follow button, you know, that's how it works. So you can go over there on Kick, chat. The link is somewhere in the description. I need y'all to go over there and follow me on Kick. Hit that heart button on Kick. It's going to be a heart button or a follow button. Go over there and make sure you follow me on Kick. I'm going to be doing exclusive content over there on Kick that's not going to be on YouTube. My overall goal is to go full time on Kick. That's my overall goal, is to move everything that I'm doing on YouTube to Kick. Why, Stock Sniper? Because like I said, Kick pays by the hour when you stream. Yeah, I said it. That's what it is. Kick pays by the hour. So if I do a 10-hour stream, that's an hourly pay every single hour. You know, that's how it is on Kick, and I'm feeling it. You know what I'm saying? I've been playing with Kick ever since YouTube took my monetization. You know, that it was in my opinion, it was a plus because it made me educate myself about other streaming platforms. It made me want to become a streamer, not a YouTuber. It's a difference. A YouTuber, all they do is sit on YouTube and press record, hit the record button, and that's it. A streamer is on all platforms. You know what I'm saying? A streamer is on all platforms. You see them streaming in real life. You see them with a setup. You know what I'm saying? You see them with mics. You know, a streamer and a YouTuber is totally, totally different. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nothing wrong with being a YouTuber, you know? But in 2026 and beyond, streaming is the thing. You know, particularly on all platforms. If you a YouTuber, you want to stream on Kick, you want to stream on Rumble, you want to stream on Twitch, you want to spread it out, you want to stream on TikTok, you know, you want to go everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And those other platforms are streamer friendly and they pay better. You know what I'm saying? I just basically gave an example on what Kick is. Me, I'm liking Kick, but I'm streaming on all platforms. So wherever you at right now, I'm on all platforms, you know. But for the people that's on Kick, I'm going to do Kick only streams, in real life streams. I might, the walk down, a lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people like the walk down. We had a lot of people on the walk down earlier today. That ended up doing 29,000 views, the walk down earlier today. A big turnout. You know what I'm saying? Also, that I think what happened after my monetization got took, YouTube cut off the faucet. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that because YouTube controls the faucet. What do you mean by a faucet, Stock Sniper? YouTube controls where they put your channel, who they show your channel to. So if you're in the doghouse with YouTube like I was, they cut my faucet out. They cut it off. So what I did, I just kept working because I realized that I'm just a junior, you know what I'm saying, on YouTube. I only been doing this for like 3 years. I'm a junior. So I've been learning, you know what I'm saying? And me losing my monetization, chat, it made me explore other platforms. You know, shout out to Charleston White because he told me, man, start streaming, start going to Kick. And don't get, and now I'm gonna tell y'all this. I'm trying to get a Charleston White interview. I already talked to Dewberry. So me and Dewberry is already locked in. I just told him I'm waiting to get my monetization back. And guess what? I got my monetization back today. So I'm gonna lock in Charleston White. You know, he have not hit me back about, you know, what it's gonna cost to do, you know, a live stream with him. You know what I'm saying? If I'm willing to go to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to Dallas. I might end up doing Dewberry first, chat, because Dewberry, we've been talking on Instagram, right? We hit each other up on the phone. You know, I reached out to him on Instagram, told him to call me, and he called me. You know what I'm saying? So I just told him, look, I'm just waiting because it wouldn't make sense for me to do that interview, and I'm not monetized on YouTube. So I told him, just give me to like the middle of September. Once this monetization go through, I'm going to Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do that interview. You know, hopefully that interview, you know, not only, I'm not doing it just for the interview, I'm doing it, you know, for a lot of different reasons. You know what I'm saying? So I'm most likely I'm gonna do Dewberry first, and then hopefully Charleston White hit me back on Instagram, and we can lock that one in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got. That's what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to, you know, get things together, learn streaming, you know, make connections with different type of streamers to take this to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And in order to do that, you have to build relationships with bigger streamers, right? That's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to let them know, well, hey, you know, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to do business. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to pop out these interviews. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so important. You can't be when it comes to streaming, you know, and this stuff, you got to take it serious for one. And then for two, you cannot burn bridges. You want to build relationships. You know what I'm saying? That's how you get your channel out there. That's how you get your streaming out there. You got to connect with different streamers. You know what I'm saying? Streamers that are big. Streamers that are say, okay, this dude all right. Hey, say, man, y'all go follow so-and-so. Y'all go follow so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, but the thing about it got to be with streamers that align with what we do on this channel. You know what I'm saying? It is a strategic move. I'm not just going to do interviews with anybody. It got to be people that align with the channel. I know that because YouTube told me 60% of the people that watch this channel are older people. They're older people. There ain't no youngsters in here. 60% of the people that watch this channel are older than me. You know, the last time I checked the numbers, most of the people that's on this channel that come over here and rock with me, that come back, they're older than me. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta, when I interview people, you know what I'm saying, I have to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that they align with what we do on this channel. Circuit Wave, what you doing on this channel? And give me a breakdown on this channel. It's about what I'm into. I'm into sports. I'm into the economy. I'm into health, right? I'm into connecting with other streamers. I'm into politics. I'm into world events. This the Freedom of Speech channel. You know, that's what I'm into. That's what I like. You know, so this channel is about what I like. And, you know, I just basically explained it. I do, as we about to react to Donald Trump. So I'm into politics. You know, that don't mean I'm a Trump supporter. Let's get that twisted. So somebody today earlier say that I'm a Trump supporter because I do videos about Donald Trump. They said that I'm Uncle Tom because I'm making videos about Donald Trump. So just because I make videos about Donald Trump, same here, and First Amendments all the way. That's right. Nice with sports. Yep. I do sports commentary. That's how Circuit Wave. That's how I lost my monetization. I broadcast Brain Risk. That's Aiden Ross boxing match. I streamed the whole fight, and they took my monetization. I had a good night though. It was a good night. But I had to learn. You know, I had to learn, you know, the rules and regulations and how to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So they gave me a 90-day suspension. I took 90 days, And I started trying to build relationships with bigger streamers that are into what I'm into, right? That we kind of align with, and I'm gonna start doing interviews with these people, in real life interviews, not like real life interviews where I go to where they at or they come to where I'm at, and kind of like Vlad TV and those guys do their interviews. They bring people to their studio, or they go to the people's studio and they do interviews. Yeah, I'm not that into him with the Iran situation, so I'm a centralist. Yeah, that's right. It's the best way to do is be a centralist, but it's good to pay attention to what's going on around the world. You know what I'm saying? It's good to pay attention. It can help you make moves in real life. You know what I'm saying? I subbed anyway. All right, appreciate you, Circuit. Thank you for subbing. Appreciate you. But yeah, it makes you understand what's going on. And it's good to know what's going on around the world, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? It's good to educate yourself. Dennis Rodman, is that you? Nope, I'm not Dennis Rodman. Isaac Newton. No, I'm not Dennis Rodman. I'm not. Appreciate you coming through, Isaac and Circuit Wave. Appreciate y'all for coming through. 100. God bless, man. Yeah, God bless you too, Circuit Wave. Appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, Chad, we finna get ready to. I just had to explain a little bit what's been going on with me today. Really the last 90 days, I've been learning more about streaming and how to conduct myself as a streamer. That's what I've been doing. So I'm on a lot of different platforms now. So we're going to react to Donald Trump, see what he has to say today, what he has to say. He did a Oval Office, little small like interview or whatever. And appreciate y'all for joining me. Let's play this. Let's go. Let me go over here.
You all set? Thank you very much. I just want to announce the stock market just hit another all-time high. That's the 81st time during a brief 1.5 years. And 401ks, likewise, they're at an all-time high. So millions and millions of people are benefiting from this incredible economy that we're creating. We're building right now a record number of plants, factories. Car companies are moving back, as you know. Honda announced, and Toyota announced they're moving in from Mexico. They're coming here. And numerous plants are coming in from Canada. They'll be announced shortly, but numerous plants are coming in to the United States from Canada. Also Japan, South Korea, and Germany. So we're doing things that nobody's ever done before. But the stock market just hit 81 times in a short 1.5 period. It's just hit its all-time high again. I want to congratulate Darlene Graham on her tremendous victory on Tuesday night. And she's sailing now. She's really doing great. She's still got to run against a radical left lunatic. And the South Carolina people are not going to stand for that. I know South Carolina very well. I won it every time by record numbers, have the all-time record by millions of votes. But I just want to congratulate Darlene for having run really a great race. And she's going to be a great senator. And the people love her. There's something about her that's very special. She's got a little Lindsay in there somewhere. Got good genetics. So Lindsay's looking down very, very happy.
That over there,
very proud of her sister. So congratulations, Darlene. And finally, I guess the purpose of this more than anything else is we're going to be changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately, to Lake America. That's going to take place right now as I sign the order. Do you have anything to say about it, Ben?
Yes, sir. So this is a straightforward but important executive order. It directs Secretary Burgum and the Department of the Interior to update the Geographic Names Information Service to reflect that the lake once known as Lake Ontario will from this day forward be known as Lake America. This is a lake that has most of its volume in the United States. The deepest parts of the lake sit in the United States territory, so this will reflect that this is an American lake.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. And we filed all the necessary papers, documents, everything else. We notified all of the
This man
various
is loaded.
people that we have to notify.
RFK Jr. Worm has
So
hacked
we've
his
done
brain.
everything that you have to do. And this is official, effective immediately. Do you have any questions, anybody?
Mr. President.
Yes.
That video you put up yesterday, crossing out Lake Ontario and writing Lake America, it's been seen by about 30 million people, maybe more, across all the social media platforms. What message are you sending to Canada with this move today, and why was this such an important thing for you to do?
It's an interesting question. No message. As you know, Canada's been ripping us off for a long time on trade, very sadly. Even the military, you know, we defend Canada for nothing. We don't get anything. They don't pay us to defend Canada, but we defend Canada. And they understand that. As an example, we bought icebreakers. They'd like to use them. We have 11 brand new icebreakers coming in. They'd like to use the icebreakers. They don't pay for anything. And they want to be treated like a state, but they're not a state. But they want to be treated like they're a state. And so we just can't do that anymore. We lose on average over the last 15 years, $60 billion a year.
Hey, what's
carrying
up,
Canada.
Kramer?
So we just can't do it anymore. We love the people of Canada.
It's good.
I
Not
don't
much
think their
just chilling, bro.
representatives do an appropriate job. Maybe they'll change. I really don't know. I mean, it doesn't make much difference. But we can't let the whole Canadian thing that's been going on for decades, and it has to come to a stop. So we're going to be doing tariffs on their cars that are coming in at a substantial level, because we want to make the cars here. We don't want if they can make their own cars if they want, and they can continue to make their cars for Canada. But we don't want them to make cars for the United States of America. It's very simple. Likewise, many other products. So the lake change, Lake of America, was something I've been thinking about for a long time, actually. As you know, we took something called the Gulf of Mexico, and we changed it, and now it's very routinely the Gulf of America. So if you think about it, we have a Gulf and we have a lake. Now all we need is an ocean. So maybe we'll have to change the name of the Atlantic and or the Pacific. Maybe we'll change them both.
Why are you so focused on doing things like this towards America's allies instead of doing things that
Well, they haven't
target
treated us
adversaries?
well. The Canadian officials have treated us very badly. They're nasty people. They charge our farmers 400% tariffs. They've been doing it for a long time. And I had them figured out in my first term, and I did some pretty strong things and had it getting pretty good. And then the election was rigged, and now I'm coming back and doing it the way and finishing the job. But they treat us very badly. Canada treats us very badly. I would say that of all countries, as you know, we have presidency coming in a couple of weeks.
I'm doing what I'm saying.
We deal with a lot of people. People oftentimes
I see you and I support
they'll ask
you
me,
even more.
who's the worst to deal with on
I
trade?
appreciate it, Creamy.
And I said, that's easy. Canada. They are the worst to
Appreciate
trade. And they feel entitled, and just we can't have that.
Mr. President, Ted Cruz keeps teasing a 2028 presidential run. You run against him for president. Do you think he could be president? What's your reaction to that?
You say he's going to run? Or?
He's teasing in he's talking about it.
You don't mean 2020, but you mean...
2028.
Yeah. I would say that he's very talented. He's a very good friend of mine. I think he might do that.
Mr. President,
He's a talented guy.
Mr. President, what's your reaction for?
What would you say to those who are concerned a trade dispute with Canada could affect American affordability ahead of midterms?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be very good for us because we're losing. When you talk about affordability, we're losing $62 billion a year on average with Canada. And if you really look at it, we're losing more than that. It's too much. It's too much. We
Man,
can't
I got
lose
a
that.
feeling,
We don't want to
Chad.
lose it. We don't want to lose it anymore.
The
Mr. President,
Republicans going to lose the
committed to
midterm.
not attacking a NATO territory.
I've had good talks with him. He's not going to be attacking a NATO territory.
Mr. President, what's your reaction to the latest
Supreme
on the...
Court earlier this week ruled on mail-in ballots, and there are states like North Carolina that have ballots that go out next week. How are states supposed to implement this
Well, they're
in
able
time?
to. North Carolina's great. It's a great place. I won it all 3 times. They do some mail-in ballots, but basically they ruled on the legitimacy and the way we want to make them legitimate. And it was a great ruling for the Republicans.
I gotta admit, Chad, I think, in my opinion, I think the Republicans are gonna lose the midterm, Chad. We got 3 more months before midterm, and I'm thinking the Republicans are gonna lose the midterm. If that happens, ooh-wee. What y'all think about that, Chad? What y'all think about that? Do y'all think that the Republicans are gonna lose the midterm? Creamy, yes, sir. I supported you beforehand. When I seen to disrespect you, now that I see what you doing, I give more support, respect, brother. At the very best, the midterms will be a mixed bag. Man, I'm thinking, that's my opinion though. I think that the midterms, I don't think it's looking good for the Republicans.
Why is
Director
keep voting by mail,
Ratcliffe,
sir? You say it's a
Ratcliffe
concern.
deliver a warning to Russia not to attack NATO territory during his...
Well, I don't want to comment on that, but they're not going to attack.
Mr. President, on Nepal, Mr. President, what's your reaction to the Americans missing in Nepal?
Oh, it's terrible. No, and we've called Nepal and we've offered any help that they need. You know, we have a very good relationship with Nepal, and that was that was mud and water as a mixture. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like that. We're very powerful, strong, well-built buildings were wiped out like they were toothpicks.
Daniel, what's up, Daniel? Appreciate you for coming through. Stay on the plantation or vote red. Stay on the plantation or vote red.
It's a terrible thing. No, we are sending aid, and we've spoken to the leadership, and we let them know anything they want we'll have. And there were 50, maybe 60 Americans over there. We haven't gotten the full list yet, but hopefully they're okay. But that that looks like something that people will not be. Somebody will be lost, unfortunately.
There is reports that Vladimir Putin is meeting with the president of Iran to talk about a nuclear agreement next week. Is there concern in the administration, in the White House, that these countries aren't taking economic D-Day seriously, that they're going to continue doing business with
doing
Iran
business,
despite the warnings?
Iran is right now, they're not paying their troops. They're in deep trouble. They have very little capacity. Last night we took 24 boats through the strait. We're taking them through all the time. We say it very openly.
What has the Democratic Party
It doesn't mean we're finished with the
done for
military,
you?
but the strait is open, as you know. The Strait of Hormuz is open. We have control, and we have the blockade. Iran's not getting anything. Nothing is going through. Not one ship has
But
gotten
will you
through.
punish Putin or Russia if they continue
Well, it
to do
depends.
business
It
with
depends. So
Iran?
far, I think
Hold up.
Russia's behaved
I gotta,
quite well, having to do with the Strait of Hormuz.
Because I gotta
Nothing.
rewind that and pause it.
We have.
As I read the comments, I like to hear what's going on. Because I haven't been, the last couple of days, well, really that last week, I haven't really been keeping up with this. Because I've been trying to get my streaming stuff going. I haven't been really keeping up with what's going on. Creamy, a mixed bag doesn't look good for the Republicans. That means they still have to deal with Democrats with this. And that's all around, like always going to be discourse, and never conversations. Yeah, distract. Yeah, that's what they do. They like to keep us divided, Creamy. You know why, in my opinion, Creamy, I don't like the system the way it is, the Democrat, Republican, red and blue. Me personally, as I've gotten older, you know what I'm saying, I don't like that. I don't like it because it keeps us divided. You know, it keeps us divided. You know what I'm saying? Instead of bringing the people together, it actually makes us more divided. That's what I have been experiencing since I've gotten older. Never trust a Democrat with our borders. That's a fact, Daniel. They'll leave them wide open. I'm deep down south. I'm deep down here in Texas. They'll leave them wide open. You know, that's a fact. They used to then be like that, you know, though they have recently, the last 8 years, they have been changing a lot. You know what I'm saying? They've changed a lot. But I have nothing to do with the greasy gang. They all bent backs, in my opinion. All right, Chad, let's keep going.
Control, and we have the blockade. Iran's not getting anything. Nothing is going through. Not one ship has
But
gotten
will you
through.
punish Putin or Russia if they continue
Well, it
to do
depends.
business
It
with
depends. So
Iran?
far, I think Russia's behaved quite well, having to do with the Strait of Hormuz. And you have to understand, for everything they do, we do also. You know, somebody was saying about China. What about China?
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, chat. Everybody come over here to rock with the channel. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you, whatever platform you on, because I'm live on 5 different platforms. I'm live on Kick. I'm live on Twitch. I'm live on Rumble. I'm live on YouTube. So whatever platform you on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're on Kick, make sure you hit the follow button. Kick is a lot different than YouTube. Over there on Kick, hit that follow button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you hit that follow button. I'm going to start doing Kick only streams over there in real life. You know what I'm saying? Kick is more like, you know, they want to see what's going on in life, what you're doing in real life. So, and I like Kick. So I'm going to start doing some, for y'all that watch me on Kick, I'm going to start doing some Kick only streams. So right now I got everything together. I got YouTube, I got Kick, I got Twitch, I got Rumble, I got all the platforms together. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to start doing individual streams for each individual platform, because so the people that are on those platforms will get exclusive, you know, will get different type of content. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about moving the walk down from YouTube to Kick. That's what crossed my mind. But then I also understand a lot of people like that walk down. A lot of people like seeing me running, you know what I'm saying, and then walking after I run. A lot of people like seeing the exercising type stuff on YouTube. So I'm kind of, you know, thinking about that. So I might just do the walk down on YouTube and Kick. That's what I think I might do. But everybody else, you know, rocking with the channel right now, I appreciate y'all. Just the Freedom of Speech channel. I am your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. You know what I'm saying? This is the Freedom of Speech channel. You have the right to say whatever you want to say over here. You know what I'm saying? It's about freedom of speech. So I appreciate y'all for coming through, rocking with me. Let's go on and hear what the president has to say. He's talking about the Strait of Hormuz right now. So let's see, because even though there's a lot going on in the world, we still got Iran in this oil situation. You know what I'm saying? We still got that going on. You know, so we got to take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? It's good to understand and know what's going on in the real world. You know, it's good to know. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
We hear they're spying. We spy on them too. That's the way it goes.
Why not sanction Chinese banks, though, who are doing business
Well,
with
who
Iran?
said I'm not? You said, why not? I mean, who said I'm
Secretary
not?
Bessent didn't announce
You don't know if
that.
I'm doing it. Well, I don't have to announce everything, do I?
Are you who are you speaking to, sir, about what other leaders have you spoken to about this pressure campaign to get them to cut off ties with Iran?
About Iran? There's not a lot to speak to. We don't want to speak to them. We're not looking to meet or anything. The Strait is open. We're taking a lot of boats. Millions and millions of barrels of oil are coming out of the Strait every day. Other countries recognize that. Every once in a while, they shoot some, they put some shots out. We totally cleared the Strait of. We have the best minesweepers in the world. They're underwater minesweepers, and we've totally cleared the Strait of mines. And we're watching very closely through Space Force, which is one of my things, one of my many things. But we're watching. We see every inch of the strait.
Vote blue.
And any boat goes into
Trump
the mine,
speak
we see
must
it,
be stopped.
and we take it out.
Hey,
We
what's
take it
up?
out, too.
Unknown.
Thank you. So I'll be going to Texas, and we're working very hard. We want to win that race. He's running against a man who should never be. We have a very good candidate, Ken Paxton, and he's running against Telefrico, they call him, because he is a little freaky, and that's not a man that represents the value of Texas. So I'm going to help Ken Paxton, and I'm going to spend a lot of time.
Trump, how you know what the value of Texas is, bro? You from New York. New York City? Yeah, Donald Trump, you from New York. Shout out to New York. You don't know, Trump, you don't know nothing about the value of Texas, bro.
In Texas, I have the all-time highest vote in the history of Texas also. And I'm going to spend some time there. We'll be going tonight. Some of you are going with me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Then again, he probably do, Chad. Check, Texas is a red state. He probably do. Let me see. I'm trying to go over here, Chad. What I also missed, is Iran state TV video appears to have been threatening Barron Trump. Barron Trump is Donald Trump's son. Man, there's a lot going on in the world, Chad. It's a lot going on. So we're going to go over here. We're going to watch it. We're going to react to this. Let me know what y'all think about this in the chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the stream. Let me know. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. You can come over here. You can speak your mind. I don't think I know everything, So come over here, speak your mind. Let me know on your opinion matters on whatever we talking about on the live stream. It matters. Okay, now let me go. Let me do this. Boom, boom, and let's see. Because I need to get caught up to date with what's been going on these last couple of days, because I've been doing other things, and I'm just finding out that Iran has threatened Barron Trump.
Latest Iranian public threat and the apparent bounty on the life of 20-year-old Barron Trump.
Hey, what's up? Hold up.
Well, I think you have to take these kinds of threats very seriously. Especially.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Gear Jammer, what's going on? Appreciate you for joining the stream. Trump just keeps on winning over and over and over again. What's up, Berth? I really like Trump. I think he's swell. Sylvia Wiggins, make sure you vote for Trump favorites. Smart, so he can get our economy back for all Americans. Thank you for raising awareness. Oh, appreciate you, Sylvia Wiggins. Appreciate you. Now, I'm just now finding out, chat, that allegedly Barron Trump, Trump's son, has been getting threats. I remember when Barron Trump was a little bitty kid. I'm talking like I know him, Chad, right? But I remember when Trump first came down that escalator and let us know that he was running for president. Barron Trump was a little bitty kid. Barron Trump is in college now, Chad. That lets me, man, time is passing, bro. Time is passing. You know what I'm saying? It really, really is. Barron Trump is now a grown man, bro. Barron Trump is now a grown man.
If they did it over Iranian TV, it's crazy for them to even try something like that, because that would probably result, without question, in an all-out war. And so I think the United States is going to have to take that threat seriously, but I also think Iran needs to be aware of the consequences of doing anything like that. It is definitely not in their interest.
Because the way that video at Iranian state TV aired, it seemed to suggest that perhaps a supporter of Iran, a supporter of terrorism in the United States, should go out and try to kill Barron Trump and then get a $10 million reward for doing so. Is that the way you understood it as well?
Did y'all hear that, Chad? Allegedly, they saying that it's a $10 million hit out on Barron Trump. Bro, that's wow. It's a lot going on in this world, man. It's a lot going on. Just imagine if it's really pulled off. Just imagine if this really becomes a reality. What do y'all think about that, chat? According to Secret Service, it's a $10 million hit out on Barron Trump, bro. What y'all think about that, chat? We got how many people on YouTube? We got 33 people on YouTube in the chat right now. Let me know in the comment section. What do you really think about this? Secret Service is putting it out there allegedly that there is a $10 million bounty on Barron Trump. Bob, what? No, I do not believe it, even as much as Butker, full of lies. Anyone that believes this injected bleach. Oh, no, 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 no. Bob, I hope nobody injected bleach, bro. I hope nobody injected bleach. Make sure turn blue. I hope nobody injected bleach, bro. I hope not. But just think about it, though. If something like that was to happen, what would be the outcome? What would actually happen after that? Just thinking, what if it's true and they actually pull it off? What will happen? See, it's a lot going on around the world, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. That's why we have to pay attention. If you think it's real or not, you still got to pay attention because you never know. You know, you never know. And man, if that was to happen, what do you think? How would Donald Trump and the U.S. military react to that? I pray it's a lie, bro. Chat, I pray it's a lie. I pray that it's not real. I pray that it's all a lie. Because if it's not, and they can actually pull it off, woo! They say it's a war right now over oil with Iran. If that happens, it's going to shock the world. It's going to shock the world.
Well,
Look, Wolf, the threats we've gotten from Iran are very similar. The word goes out that individuals here in the United States might be the kind of terrorists who might attempt that kind of assassination, either on the president or the first family or others as well. That's the kind of intelligence we've gotten in terms of Iran's threats. And so it's for that reason that you have to take these kinds of threats very seriously and not assume that it's just propaganda. Iran, from my experience, makes these kinds of threats. You've got to be prepared to deal with it, because that kind of craziness can be a reality when it comes to what they do.
And they dramatically have to beef up security for Barron Trump right now. I assume you agree, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me also ask you, Mr. Secretary, about the current U.S. sanctions, the new sanctions on Iran, and the threat to punish countries that continue to do business with the Iranian regime. China is Iran's top export partner, and China is severely criticizing these latest new sanctions from the U.S. Is Washington headed for a collision course with Beijing?
Well, I think what's happening, Wolf, is that we've been in a stalemate in Iran. Both sides are running out of options as to what to do. The United States has tried military action that has not brought down the regime. It hasn't stopped them from firing missiles. It hasn't stopped them from closing the Straits of Hormuz. And on the nuclear issue, we're nowhere in terms of trying to decide who controls the enriched fuel and what happens in terms of some kind of inspection regime. None of that is anywhere. And so the United States is now trying an economic approach, D-Day. But on D-Day, when the United States landed, we had a lot of allies landing with us. That's not the case here on this economic D-Day. The reality is that China, nor any of the countries that Iran has traded with, are part of this approach. And for that reason, it becomes very hollow unless you can get other countries, particularly China, involved in making sure that we do everything to isolate Iran. So I do not see this as being a very successful move until they're able to get that kind of cooperation. And I don't see that coming from China in particular.
And on that specific issue, if China is not held to account, Mr. Secretary, will Iran's other major trading partners, such as India and Turkey, for example, be as likely to sever ties?
I think all of them are going to be very cautious before they take action here. Frankly, the United States, prior to making this kind of announcement, should have lined up these countries to support isolating Iran. They didn't do that. In the press conference yesterday, the secretary is kind of hopefully praying that these other countries will come in and support this initiative. That's not a good way to conduct business. You've got to lay that groundwork. You've got to build those allies into the package. They've got to be committed to doing this. Otherwise, as I said, you can say you're going to conduct, a D-Day approach on the economy, but the reality is nobody's going to show up, and that means that, frankly, we're going to continue right now in this forever war. That's the likely outcome of all of these actions that we're seeing now.
We just learned in the last few minutes that the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, secretly traveled to Moscow overnight to meet with top Russian officials. It comes as negotiations to try to end the war between Russia and Ukraine have stalled, and just after the Treasury said...
That's crazy, Chad. Let's go over here and see what else is going on. I got to get caught up on a lot of stuff that I have not been paying attention to. Yeah, I ain't really been paying attention to what's going on lately. I've been trying to get my kick ready to rock. I've been going to streamer school. So I haven't been paying attention to what's really going on that much around the world, chat. Appreciate y'all for joining. We got 54 people in the building. If you have not hit that like button, please hit the like button. We got 54 people on YouTube. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kick. If you over there on Kick, make sure that you hit the follow button. If you on Rumble, whatever button you got to push on Rumble, make sure you hit that button. If you're on Twitch, make sure you hit the like button, the follow button, whatever button is over there on Twitch. Make sure you hit that button so you'll be notified whenever we stream. I'm going to stop saying go live because I'm a streamer. So whenever I start streaming, you'll be notified. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to start breaking these streaming services. I'm going to start breaking up these platforms. So Kick, y'all are going to get Kick-only streams. Rumble, you're going to get Rumble-only streams. Twitch, you're going to start getting Twitch-only streams. That's what we're going to start doing over here. That's what we're going to start doing. So here we go, chat. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you drop a comment. Let me know what you think.
Captured the destruction at this checkpoint when dozens tried to flee. Chinese authorities are deploying to the autonomous region of Tibet, taking with them emergency supplies, search dogs and heavy machinery.
China is maintaining close communication and coordination with Nepal to jointly carry out search and rescue operations and will provide emergency assistance based on Nepal's needs.
In Nepal, military and private helicopters are flying into remote areas to rescue survivors.
Almost 4 districts, they have been cut off from the mainland. All the bridges have been washed away. And because of the high velocity of flooding, it's like a flash flood, so people could not protect themselves. And there are lots of casualties.
Family members of the missing are gathering at hospitals in Kathmandu, hoping for news.
My family member has been missing since yesterday. I could not find his name on the missing persons list. Another family member is also still missing.
With buildings...
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Doof Bay Booth, appreciate you for coming through. He absolutely suggested to ingest bleach, and then the media ran with it. He was being sarcastic. Yeah, I think he was being sarcastic too, but as the president of the United States, you can't say things like that, You really shouldn't. I ain't gonna say you can't, because it's the freedom of speech, but you shouldn't. As the president of the United States, you shouldn't say nothing like that. Why, Stock Sniper? Because when the president says something, his words are so powerful that it's people that are actually try to do that. And that's so he was being sarcastic, but in my opinion, Chad, he shouldn't have said that. Sometimes we gotta think before we say things, right? So that's what I think about that. That's what I think about that, Chad.
Bridges and roads buried or washed away, villages are unrecognizable. International support is arriving, and the UN Humanitarian Affairs Office says it has allocated $2 million for the emergency response. Kaylee Callahan, Al Jazeera.
Satellite images showing the affected areas before and after those floods have revealed the extent of the devastation. On the border between China and Nepal, where a wave of mud and water crashing into the buildings can be seen on Wednesday, we can see that the river has swollen to many times its previous size. And looking closer, the structures on the China-Nepal border are now gone, with little trace of what was once there. And the destruction is not limited to that one site. In these images, we can see there's entire villages wiped out along the path of the floodwaters. Well, Tom Fletcher is the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, and he says that search and rescue
was upheld. In 2021, he scowled as he lost his final appeal. He lived out the rest of his days behind bars, but leaves behind a region overshadowed.
Throughout the war in the virus,
have to look at people.
Trump says the name change will take effect immediately.
We're going to be changing the name of Lake Ontario, effective immediately, to Lake America. That's going to take place right now as I sign the order. And we filed all the necessary papers, documents, everything else. We notified all of the various people that we have to notify. So we've done everything that you have to do. And this is official, effective immediately.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has responded, posting on social media that the name Lake Ontario comes from an Indigenous word. It is more than 400 years old, predating both the Confederation of Canada and the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Carney adds, "We know that America is changing. Their trading relationships, their foreign policies, their national monuments, their hydronyms. Canadians also know that naming reality means calling it Lake Ontario, then, now,
I'm
and
saying I'm about to
always."
get ready to switch it again,
Our
man.
Chief U.S. correspondent Alan Fisher
Trump
has more from
is
the White
in
House.
Texas.
So has Donald Trump renamed Lake Ontario to Lake America? Well, to a point, yes. On all federal documents, it will now be known by its new name. On all federal maps, it will be known as Lake America. But it's up to private companies and states to decide if they follow suit. And certainly New York has already said it will keep with the old name, as have the Canadians. Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, says they are
Johnson was in Texas to rally with the Webb County judge, who is a Democrat turned Republican running in that area. Let's go ahead and listen in here on Live Now from Fox.
I got some reinforcements down here in the front row. Can I introduce a couple of people before I get started here? We got reinforcements that have come from Congress from around the country to stand with this great man right here, okay? And they're right here.
I saw a video with
Let me introduce
some
you,
workers
Mario
running
Diaz
uphill
from
to
Florida.
avoid
Stand
a
up,
huge
brother.
stream of water. Lake Morocco.
Now, I understand South
Let me
Florida,
look that
but
up,
this guy
Chad.
from
Lake
Indiana,
Morocco.
Congressman from Indiana, Rudy Yakum is here.
Let's see what's going on with that.
Not if, but when Tano wins this seat in 68 nights. Okay, that's what's
Lake
going to happen.
Morocco.
He's going to win. He's going to join Congress with an outstanding group of new members, and one of them is with us today from Oklahoma, Mark Tedford. Stand up, brother. Now, why did I bring all these guys from all over the country? Because they wanted to be here with this extraordinary candidate. I don't have to tell you how great Tano is for this district. Let me give you the words of the president himself. Mikey, straight out of Central Casting. Okay, that's what he says. He says, look at him, Mike. He's so handsome. He's so strong. Look at him. Mike, he's a lot bigger than you. Yes, sir. I know that. Big things come in small packages, sir, but also in big ones. Okay. Tano is the real deal, y'all. We have been recruiting all-star candidates around the country because you know this midterm election is unlike any other we've ever had in our lives. Maybe the most important midterm in the history of our great country, okay? Because we're in an all-out cataclysmic battle to save the republic, okay? You might have noticed the communists are coming for the country, okay? They're taking over the Democrat Party. I'm sad to tell you this is not our father's Democrat Party. It doesn't exist anymore. When I grew up in Louisiana, I scarcely knew a Republican. They were all Democrats, blue dog Democrats. But you know what? They loved God and country and faith and family and the principles of the country. That party doesn't exist anymore, okay? The money, the energy, the excitement, the grassroots is on the side of the insurgent left in the Democrat Party. And they do not stand for anything that South Texas stands for, okay? That's why you gotta have champions. You gotta have proven leaders. You gotta have guys who have been in the battle and have served, and they understand that public service is about serving the people and not yourself, okay? All right? You guys know what County Judge Tano T. Arena is about, right? He's a man of faith and principle and family. He stands for freedom, and he's going to fight every day for the people of this district. And this district and this battle matters more than almost any other around the country. I'm an ambassador of hope today, okay? I'm going to tell you all the reasons we're going to defy history, and we must do it. Because it's only happened twice in 90 years that a sitting president has picked up seats for his party in that first two-year cycle. And the answer is, people ask, why is that? Because when someone wins the White House,
Hold on,
the
Chad.
other party's
Trying
going
to
to
get it
soar about
together.
it, right? And so they get their grassroots out and they turn out the base and they take seats away from the president
some reason
in
I
the
can't
House
find
in that
it.
first two-year cycle. That is not
Oh,
going
yeah,
to happen
I
this
think I
time.
found
Okay,
it.
not going to happen, right? Let me tell you exactly where we stand today, because it's so important to the people in this room. And your presence here shows us you understand the stakes. You understand this is bigger than this district in South Texas. It's bigger than Webb County, bigger than the whole state of Texas, and that's a big state, brother, okay? It's bigger than the whole thing. It's for the whole country. This is for the survival of freedom. Now, here's the stats as of this morning, okay? Very sober-minded about our challenge, but here's what it says. The Cook Political Reports, probably the gold standard, they are trying to guess what's going to happen on election night. People on both sides of the aisle look to them for their expertise, and this is what they say. As of this morning, they projected on election night, we're going to have 211 Republican victories, 205 Democrat victories. That means there's 19 seats in the middle that are the battleground, that are the jump ball seats. Now, of those 19, you rate them in importance. I'm telling you, your district is in the top 3 battles in America, okay? This comes down to your effort, your turnout, your investment, your time, your influence, all that you're giving us right now. And
Rob, Mike Johnson, your days are numbered.
Tano is the perfect guy to flip this blue seat to red. I'm telling you, okay? The perfect guy. Y'all, we need fighters right now. This is serious business. Now, let me tell you a couple of reasons real quick why we're so optimistic about this. I have a very boring 90-minute slideshow that I did not bring to you today. Okay? I'll be very quick. First of all, we got a great record to run. These incumbents, all the members of Congress, the Republican majority, even though we had a 1 or 2 vote margin, most of this Congress, what could go wrong, right?
Man, the end of the year is going to be exciting,
to get this done, but he's coming. He's coming. I got reinforcements. But look, we got the votes.
It is a change.
We have an extraordinary record to run on. We passed over 800 pieces of legislation, landmark stuff to fix the mess that we inherited from the Biden-Harris years, okay? It was a disaster. Among the first things that we fixed, you know what the biggest issue, the biggest issue in the 2024 election was? The wide open border and the chaos that it brought. Elections have consequences, my friends. We sealed and secured the border. Thank you. You're right. Do you know the stats? Y'all know it better than anybody. We have not had one release of an illegal into the country in over 16 straight months, okay? It's a big thing. We also got back to American energy dominance, and that's a big deal to Texas and my state of Louisiana. We got back to peace through strength. We passed all this legislation, and we gave everybody the largest tax cut in U.S. history, okay? It's a big thing. The average Texan has more than $4,000 in their pocket because of the tax cut that they were given. They didn't have to send it to Washington to be squandered. They kept it, their own hard-earned money. And
Man, we got 21 likes. I appreciate y'all for hitting the like button. We got 21 likes over on the Freedom of Speech channel. Thank y'all for hitting that like button. As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. We got 21 likes, and I haven't even been asked to hit the like button. So y'all liking the stream. Appreciate y'all.
Cut all the taxes on tips and overtime and Social Security, and we infused all the policies with pro-growth issues. So if you're a small business owner, and I know we got a bunch here, that's the mainstay, the lifeblood of the U.S. economy. We made life easier on the job creators, the risk takers, the entrepreneurs, because we allowed them to write off on their taxes investment in their business. If you invest in R&D, you invest in expanding to a new facility or new manufacturing or adding jobs, you can write that off on your taxes. That's a big deal to people. That's what's helped so many people. Now, we got a lot more work to do. We need reinforcements to do it. You don't just flip a switch and get out of 40-year high inflation that Biden gave us, okay? It's a gradual process, and we're getting that done. So great record to run on. We have second reason, we have far superior candidates, okay? I'm not going to tell you what an upgrade this will be. I talk about Tano. Look, okay, in every way, okay? I talk about Tano all around the country, okay? Because he's the poster child for what we're trying to do and accomplish this week, okay? Go Texas, that's right, and I do it. I might as well be wearing the Texas logo everywhere I go. And look, y'all, I'm in the middle of a 30-day nonstop campaign fundraising tour. I'm going to 18 states, 34 districts. We don't stop. We save the best for last in South Texas, okay? I'm telling you, everywhere I go around the country, I talk about Tano. And Eric Flores is two great examples. They're down here in South Texas. They're going to flip blue seats to red that we've been needing to do for a long time. We got the right people at the right time. They know the people. They know who they represent, and they're ready to fight for your freedom, okay? We got to have them, and we're going to win this thing. And so we have better, far superior candidates. For the first time in 10 years, we have a slight fundraising advantage over the Democrats, okay? Yeah, big deal, big deal. Now, my job is to go everywhere, and I'm supposed to raise $400 million for the party. This is a gross approximation, but I think by God's grace, I think we crossed that line this past week, okay? So we're on track to do it. It's an all-time record, but I'm not the best fundraiser in the party. The reason that we are doing that is because people like you understand the stakes are so high, right? This is for all the marbles. We cannot lose this midterm. I want you to imagine a nightmare scenario with these insurgent Marxist Democrats taking over the Congress. They would impeach the president on the first day. They've already said what they're going to do. They'll convert every committee of Congress into an investigative body. They'll spend every waking hour investigating the president and his family and the cabinet and going on this lawfare exercise. It would roil the markets. It would undermine people's confidence in the U.S. and the economy. It would empower our enemies across the globe at the worst possible time. We cannot allow them to do that, okay? The problem that we have right now is that the people coming behind us don't understand how dangerous these ideas are. They don't understand that socialism is a road to ruin. They don't understand that socialism is a step to get to communism. It's Marxist philosophy. They thought communism would be the utopia, the perfect society. They're dead wrong, okay? Every single time that's been tried over history, it has led to human suffering and poverty and famine and death. We started a new website a couple of weeks ago to try to illustrate this. It's called ContrastForAmerica.com. This is a contrast election, and we take them through the history of communism in the 20th and 21st century. It always leads to ruin. In fact, it's been the reason that tens of millions of innocent people have been murdered in the 20th century alone. It is anti-American. We are not going to let that happen. Ronald Reagan used to remind us all the time. He said, you have to remember this. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction, okay? We don't pass it in the bloodstream. It's not automatic. We have to fight for it. We got to protect it. And then we have to teach it and pass it along to the next generation. So they, too, will have the same liberty, opportunity, and security that we've known and sadly too often take it for granted. We cannot take it for granted anymore, okay? This election is for all the marbles. Now, if somebody had told us, Tano, 10 years ago that on the 250th anniversary, the greatest nation in the history of the world, we would be locked into this contest to determine if we're going to keep the republic or go down this dark, dangerous, deadly road to communism, I wouldn't have believed that. But that's exactly what's happening right now. Now, we have to win this seat. We have to get Tano elected to Congress. And I'm absolutely convinced we're going to, because he's going to be a big part of this, right?
Speaker Big Johnson is brilliant.
I was on the phone with Newt Gingrich several months back. I talked to him all the time. Still one of the great strategists in the party. He has a way of crystallizing things. He's a good thought leader. You know, he said, Mike, you got to think about this. This midterm is different than any in history. You got to think of this as a contrast election. This isn't a contract with America year. Y'all did that in 2024. Kept your promises. Great record to run on. This is a contrast for America year. And in short summary, it's a contrast between common sense and crazy. That's what the other side represents now. We make no bones about it. One of the reasons we're really excited about this, too, is that this is big in Texas, okay? But we're going to do the first ever midterm convention for any party in history before the midterm, okay? And
What's up, Chad? What's up, Chad? Appreciate y'all for joining.
National
I am your host, the one on the Scott
Sniper. September 9th and 10th, right before early voting begins nationwide. We're going to do it in Dallas, Texas, my friends, all right?
Where it's Kick, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube,
everybody be coming in
Buddy
around
channel.
the country, coming here. We have 2 nights on Net Media. All the stations are covered. We'll be talking about our great record of achievement, our extraordinary candidates that we recruited to run and flip these seats.
Make sure you
the president's
hit
going to
that
look right into the camera to his base, and he's going to say,
on YouTube.
I am on the ballot, okay? Because even though his name isn't in a midterm, his legacy is. The America First priorities and principles are. His administration is. We got to get everybody to turn out. Now, here's another big bright spot, and I want to tell you this, and I know the cameras are rolling, and I don't care if they hear it. Let me tell you something. There are brighter days ahead of us, okay? Well, okay. This is what we call a bridge election. What do I mean by that? I think it's the most important bridge election in the history of America. Why? Because if we just defy history and we hold the line and we get Tano elected and Eric and Teixeira and Monica de la Cruz here with a little while ago, we get all these guys elected and we hold the majority no matter how large. We just got to bridge it. Why? Because the next 2 cycles are much better days for us. Why? Do you know in 2028, that's the presidential cycle, okay? How many of you know we have a much deeper bench than the Democrats do for the presidential, okay? This is not a punchline. They're talking about running Kamala, Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, or AOC for president, okay? I can't wait, Tano. I cannot wait for this, okay? Now, 2028 is going to be a big year, but then it gets even better. Think of this. Texas, big thing in Texas, 2030. What happens in 2030? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The census, right? The decennial census. And when they count, when the census reflects the mass exodus out of the blue states, okay, you know, people are leaving. California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois. Guess where they're going? Texas, all right, right? They're coming to Texas, they're going to Florida, they're going to the Carolinas and Tennessee. And when the census reflects that, we do reapportionment, okay? The seats get reassigned in the House. We will have a flood of new Republican seats in red states. My friends, that's when we can get to the point. We build a majority of 15 or 20 or 25 people like the good old days. We don't have a one-seat margin anymore, guys. I don't have to be a mental health counselor every day. It'll be awesome, okay? We have a big majority, but here's what it means, okay? Texas gets more seats, guys.
See, the thing is, a lot of people are moving to Texas and Florida. A lot of people are coming from Democratic states. The question is, will those people still vote Democrat or will they switch and vote Republican? That's the big question, chat. Even though it's a lot of people from California moving to Texas, a lot of people from California moving to Florida, a lot of people from New York moving to Florida, will those people who 8 times out of 10, those people in California, 8 times out of 10, the ones that are moving to Texas, they are Democrats. The thing is, will they get flipped to vote Republican? What if those people come to Texas and Florida and still vote Democrat? So it's something they got to think about, chat.
We're going to have an even bigger imprint on all this, all right? And then guess what happens? We build that majority. I'm telling you, that's how we build a durable, governing, common sense, conservative majority for a generation or longer. And my friends, that is how we keep the communists at bay and out of our country. That's what's going to happen, okay? So we got to get that done. I'm absolutely convinced we can. Now, I got 4 minutes left. Let me just give you a little thought here. By way of encouragement, okay? We take great solace from founders and the people that came before us and the people that set up this matchless system. And if you were all with us in D.C. right now, we'd take you on a quick tour. I'd take you onto the House floor. In the evening, we can do that when we're not in session. And I invite you all to come take one of these trips, okay? But if we won't get at eye level as the members do, the first thing you would see above the Speaker's rostrum is the national motto, "In God We Trust," right? And if you were there and we were all doing the tour right now, I'd show you in the visitor's guide. It says the visitor's guide to the People's House, a little booklet. It's about 30 pages long. They've been publishing it for 40 years. We turn in the guide, and I would show you on page 20. It explains how that got there. It says in the book, in 1962, Congress voted to put the national motto above the Speaker's head on the rostrum. It says in the book, listen to what it says, as a rebuke to the Soviets' philosophy during the Cold War. Okay? What is the Soviets' philosophy? It is exactly what we are fighting right now in 68 days. It's communism, Marxism. It is evil. It is un-American. Because let me tell you something. We're one nation under God. We said in the Declaration, our rights don't come from government. They come from our Creator, God Himself, okay? And that is a stark distinction with the communists. Because Marxism, communism, socialism begin with the premise that there is no God. That is not who we are. That is not who we are in America. It ain't who we are in South Texas either, okay? Right? I'm telling you, it's hard not to over-spiritualize this, but this is a spiritual battle for the future of the country. You know that. You know it, all right? God is not done with America yet. Okay? Another thing that Reagan used to remind us, he said, this is the last best hope of man on earth. He was quoting Lincoln when he said that. America, a strong America is good for freedom-loving people around the world. And to preserve it for our children and grandchildren, we have to win this midterm election, okay? We have to have men of character, integrity, men who will fight every day around the clock, who will roll up their sleeves, deliver for their constituents, deliver for America, and help us save freedom. That's what's on the ballot. Thank you for supporting Tano. He's going to get this done. We're going to flip this seat. I'm telling you.
Okay, Speaker Johnson, I wanted to make sure that we aired as much of this as we could before we have to step away for a quick commercial break.
Wow. They in Texas. Trump is in Houston. Speaker Johnson is in Laredo. Man, they finna start getting ready for the midterms, chat. Man, it's going to be something to see. These midterm elections are going to be something to see, chat. It really is. What's up, chat? Appreciate y'all for joining me. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Y'all could be anywhere else, but y'all come to rock with me. And I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Let's see what this what's going on with
I will
this,
say that
Chad.
so far, we have had Iran strike at a lot of ships that go through the straits, and this has been the main danger. Bombing from the sky all you want to change their entire foreign policy, military strategy, and internal policy.
Man, this war been going on for 6 months.
If he's angry with Netanyahu because he thought the war would go differently, or lots of other
Wow.
speculation and rumors. But really, since then, we have had a different of opinion with regards to how we should proceed. Never mind even the aims of the war, just the tactics. Israel has been constantly pushing the United States towards more
Hold
kinetic
up.
activity.
Let me pause the chat. I
towards
gotta
more
read
violent
some
activity.
comments. Okay, Jacob, Cali, Chicago, New York, 3 biggest in the USA. New York used to be a great place too. Don Juan, watching from Little St. James Island. Hey, shout out to Little St. James Island. Wherever that is, I don't know. Where is Little St. James Island, Don Juan? If you could please let me know. All right, chat. Let's go. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Israel wants to see the Revolutionary Guards and wants to see the security forces in Iran that much more weakened, maybe in order to facilitate protests later on, maybe in order to bring Iran to a better deal when it's more on its knees. The United States, under Trump, I don't think has any problem with that image of Iran on its knees, but it wants to see the Strait of Hormuz open and wants to see an end to this saga that has lasted a lot longer than Trump had anticipated. And really one of the reasons why these goals have ended up in increasing collision as time has gone on is we have elections. We have elections in Israel scheduled for October 27th, general elections, and elections in the United States, the midterms, a week later. And the leaderships in Israel and the United States at this point, they want and need different things when they come to the election. Trump needs peace. He needs calm. He needs positive markets. He wants stability. He wants to show, I went to war and ended it for the benefit of the American people. Netanyahu needs to show war. He needs to show, I am fighting Iran to the death. I will never allow the Islamic Republic to continue to hold on to its missile programs and its proxies. And that's really where we're ending up in a collision between Israel and the United States, also about goals, but much more about tactics at this point. Israel wants to see more fighting. The United States wants to see more negotiating. And that's where the sides have now collided over the last month or so.
So I suppose another major facet of, and really what I try to do here when we ask you questions is not only ask you something so that we can get something informative on air, hopefully people learn something from these segments, but also I think it's my job to ask the questions that a lot of people have. And I think one question that a lot of people have is, what does winning this war actually look like? What level of clarity do we have on the answer to that question 6 months later?
We have less than we had 6 months ago. Because if we go back a year ago, the United States and Israel both declared that they had destroyed Iran's nuclear program. Then, 6 months later, they went to war because they said Iran was about to achieve a nuclear weapon. And many reporters raised these questions to the leadership of both countries. They each answered differently, but factually they both said, well, Iran managed to rebuild what we destroyed. And that brings us to where we are now. If we just focus on the nuclear aspect, that's what Trump and Netanyahu both are constantly saying, Iran must never have nuclear weapons. If, in fact, we have a situation where the most elaborate bunker-busting bombs were leveled at Fordo, and we have Pickaxe Mountain, and we have all of this, and Iran was still able to, within less than a year, come to the point that they might again develop nuclear weapons, that tells us something about the ability to have a military victory here. Victory with regards to nuclear weapons, seemingly, will only be achieved if Iran itself decides that it doesn't want to pursue nuclear weapons anymore. And I know that seems strange, But there are countries, there's lots of countries, and countries that were led by equally fanatical people, including Libya, including at times Syria, that had nuclear programs, and they said, you know what? We're not pursuing them anymore because we don't want any more warfare against us. So it is possible that Iran would genuinely come to that realization. But without that, it's very difficult to see how Israel and the United States would keep on bombing once a year, maybe, but how they achieve victory with regards to the nuclear program. Then there's other questions with regards to the proxies, with regards to the Strait of Hormuz. At this point, I think the United States is not looking for a decisive victory. I think at this point, the United States is looking for some sort of long-term stability. It's looking for an interim agreement that will be negotiated over a longer period of time. That's what the Memorandum of Understanding was. It was a 2-month agreement. It collapsed. But it was a 2-month agreement that was supposed to open the doorway for a longer negotiation about the nuclear program and about other things related to Iranian assets in the Strait of Hormuz. I think that's what the United States would like to see at this point. As far as the U.S. is concerned, victory at this point would be the Strait of Hormuz being open and Iran obligating itself towards some sort of long-term negotiation and at least saying maybe it'll freeze the nuclear program for now. Because otherwise, military victory, it's hard to see what the United States could achieve more unless they're willing to put boots on the ground. And that's a whole other mess when it comes to anywhere in the world and Iran specifically.
In a conventional war, the U.S. has the upper hand in a conventional war, but we're not talking about a conventional war. What does winning mean from Iran's perspective? Obviously, Iran wouldn't be able to win a conventional war against the U.S., so what does victory look like on their end?
So as far as Iran is concerned, first of all, they have openly said that they feel that they have won until now. And the reason for that is, first of all, they've survived. And to understand that, we have to look at this through the same prism and perspective that we have looked at the asymmetrical warfare. We've looked at Israel versus Hamas, Israel versus Hezbollah, and many times you and I have spoken, and we said if the terror group survives, that's victory. That's victory because ultimately everyone knows that in conventional one-to-one, they should be crushed. So first of all, it's victory if you survive. Now, Iran is not a terror group. In that sense, it is a country, but the regime surviving is already seen as a form of victory because the strongest army in the Middle East is Israel, the strongest army in the world is the United States, and look at us, we've survived. So that's one facet that they've said, they're putting up the V for victory sign as far as they're concerned. A second facet in which they are trying to impose victory is that they are coming out, actually, at least until now, they are coming out much more of a strongman and a bully in the Middle East. And the reason was that they proved that they're willing and able to break through all of the taboos and conventions in the Middle East. We've had warfare in the Middle East, lots and lots of warfare, not just with Israel, at Iran, Iraq. We've had warfare, also warfare between Saudi Arabia and Egypt. We've had Sudan. We've had lots and lots of warfare in the Middle East. Typically speaking, countries have not targeted each other's oil production facilities. They have not targeted the vessels that move oil and gas. These things have been sort of untouchable by a lot of the militaries. And the reason was because we all know that we all depend on this for a lifeline. Iran saw that their back was against the wall. As far as they were concerned, this was an existential threat, the United States attacks, and they were like, okay, we'll attack Qatar, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, all of the oil production facilities. And they got away with it in the sense that they were the bully. All these countries really suffered a lot. Most of them did not retaliate very much, really suffered a lot. And they are now, each and every one of them, is trying to form their own deals with Iran. They all are U.S. allies, but they sort of feel that the United States did not protect them enough because a lot of their facilities were damaged. The United States under Trump is talking about maybe even withdrawing forces from the Middle East. And we've already had Qatar yesterday, the prime minister coming and meeting with the president to form their own deal with Iran. Saudi Arabia has sent delegates to form their own deals with Iran. We've had new defense alliances between Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Iran has positioned itself right now in the Middle East, ironically, in much more of a stronger position. So victory on their end would be to maintain that. That's why it's so important for them to be the ones that control the Strait of Hormuz. They want every country in the Gulf to have to pay them homage, to have to pay them respect in order to continue to produce oil, gas, etc.
I got to ask you about the Supreme Leader situation. Another thing that a lot of people are curious about. Obviously, in the opening strikes of the war, that was when that was when the Ayatollah was killed. His son, Mujtaba, took over. People that watch us regularly have seen these photos before, and that's because there simply aren't a lot of photos of Mujtaba. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alon, but we still haven't seen Mujtaba. Is his condition still unclear? How would we define it today?
So I'll take you back a little bit to how he was elected, because that's part of the questions about him. In the opening strikes of the war, Israel carried out bombings and assassinated the supreme leader, previous supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. He's been supreme leader of Iran since 1989, alongside a lot of the other Iranian leadership. Now, in Iran, when a supreme leader dies, the next supreme leader is elected by a council of experts or religious clerics. And one of the things that Israel tried to do, and I think if they had succeeded, we might have had a different outcome. One of the things Israel tried to do is when this council of clerics met in order to choose the next supreme leader, it was about 5 days into the war, Israel tried to bomb that site, tried to bomb the council itself. Now, it turns out that was a decoy. Israel bombed the building, but they actually were not meeting there. They were meeting virtually. They knew they would be the targets. If they had been killed, we might have had a situation of a power vacuum that would have led to breakdown and factionalism within Iran. But because they were not killed, they did get together and they had to select a new supreme leader. Among the options was Mujtaba Khamenei, and most people assumed that he was not going to be elected for two reasons. One, he's not a very, theoretically at least, we haven't seen him since he became supreme leader, but according to most reports, he's not a very charismatic figure. He's not someone, and we know this, in politics, you might be as smart as you can be. It's important to be able to persuade the people. It's important to be able to talk to the people. A lot of people said he's not an ideal choice. In addition to that, there was rumored that the council was concerned because they didn't want it to seem like a monarchy. They didn't want it to seem like the son of the previous leader is the one who's elected. Which raised the questions, why was he elected? And here we get a lot of rumors that he was actually injured in that initial attack, and that he was elected primarily because of those facts, because he was injured, and because he's not charismatic. And the real power in Iran, the Revolutionary Guards under Ahmed Wahidi, wanted a supreme leader elected who was not going to actually take an active role, wanted him to be elected and wanted to be able to say, yes, you sit and heal from your wounds, we're taking care of the country, and not someone who's going to come out and all of a sudden make sweeping declarations or all of a sudden going to assume the reins. And that seems to be what has happened. The supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, most intelligence agencies, Israeli, United States, and others, assume that he's alive. And they assume that he is actually giving directives and orders. But at the same time, most of the assumption is his directives and orders are being given to the Revolutionary Guards once they come and tell him this is what should happen, and then he gives the order, this is what should happen. And that seems to be currently the balance of power within Iran. We have the president and the foreign minister who are representing one side, and then we have the supreme leader. We don't know how much independent thinking he has because he was selected specifically because he was not someone who was going to be a strong leader. And that's the balance of power and how he has come into power. And right now, I will say also, he's developing an aura around him. The fact that he's not being seen, the fact is also developing a bit of a mysterious aura within Iran of where is he, who is he, and the fact that he's evading US and Israeli assassination plots is part of that aura as well.
How strong is the argument that this war actually helped the regime consolidate power?
So obviously we don't know because we are in a state right now where Iran is suffering a lot more economically. The siege that the United States has now imposed and the indirect sanctions are starting to take their effect. The Iranian rial is now at the worst state it has ever been. The previous worst state was 1988 at the end of the Iran-Iraq war. Right now, the Iranian rial is being traded at about 2 million rials to $1. and that is severe inflation compared to where things were. So we may still see more instability. It's hard to give that endpoint right now. But to large extents, it is very likely that the war, at least until now, has managed to consolidate the security forces in their drive and determination to actually preserve the regime. That does not mean that the population is all rallied behind the flag. But if we go back to the situation that there was at the end of December of 2025 in January, with massive protests in the streets, then you and I were talking about the protests and what's going to happen in Iran, and I said that one of the dangers for the regime is the fact that there are different security forces. There's the Basij, the Revolutionary Guards, the police, the military, and if any one of them ever sides with the rebels or the protesters then, but they could have turned rebels, if any one of them, that's what happened in Syria. If any one of the security forces says, I'm not willing to suppress these people, the regime will be in trouble. The war has consolidated the security forces, all the security forces. There was not a single general who got up and said, we need to have regime change now. All the security forces, the military, the Revolutionary Guards, the Basij, the police, they all rallied behind the flag. So to that extent, the regime is stronger. The citizens, however, are suffering. They're suffering from the attacks, they're suffering from the economy, they're suffering from the crackdown of the regime out of fear of protests. So we might see a destabilization of the regime later on, but right now, from a security perspective, the regime is in fact more stable than it was before the war.
So I guess one thing that we could use to close this conversation, I suppose, Alon, let's talk about the enriched uranium. That remains unresolved, I guess would be a way to put it. So they have the stockpile of highly enriched uranium. Hard to get to. The U.S. has damaged extensively their nuclear facilities. President Trump has not been shy about saying there will not be a nuclear Iran. He says that there will not be a nuclear Iran. Has this war actually reduced the nuclear threat compared to what it was before this war started, though? Or maybe it's even better to take it back to before Fordow was hit, before the B-2s were sent. Is the threat any less today than it was, say, during the Biden administration?
So the threat is probably stalled to a large extent because of the extent of damage that the different facilities have taken. And that's why I said, if you want to stop Iran from producing nuclear weapons solely through force, you could do that. You have to bomb these facilities once a year. That's pretty much what we're seeing. Because Iran has a stockpile of, give or take, 460 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. Some say 60% enriched, some say 80% enriched. To get to a nuclear bomb, they have to get to about 93%, 94%. But that is something that could be done with their enrichment facilities within a matter of weeks or months. Now, most of the enrichment facilities have been damaged in this fighting, but they can be rebuilt, and Iran has proven
Fast and pray.
And they've proven commitment.
Hey, what's up, Miss
rebuilding
Hummingbird?
So to large extent, right now, we are maybe a little further away, but I say a little further away because if Iran decides, if the war ends tomorrow, the sides all agree that we're all just going back to how it was February 28th, Iran can decide to push forward with more enrichment and with developing its nuclear capabilities, and that has not been stopped. So with regards to the question of compared to the Biden administration, the main difference is that within the Biden administration, there was, and within the Trump administration in the first year, there was an attempt to negotiate because there was a recognition that unless you're going to either put boots on the ground or go to a bombing campaign every year, you need the other side to decide that they are not going to push forward with a nuclear weapon. Because your ability to stop them militarily, we are seeing this proven, is limited. Even if the United States goes in and rebombs the entire area where the enriched uranium is placed, okay, so it'll take Iran another 6 months to dig it up, another year to dig it up. But that all you're doing is kicking the can down the road. Ultimately, you need to come to a deal, you need the other side to agree to not pursue this. That is what the Biden administration was trying to do. They were not making as much progress, as we've seen with the fact that Iran was pulling forward. That was what the Trump administration was trying to do. We were in the middle of negotiations in February. The war was launched.
Hey, what's up, DA? What's up, Boston?
Some sort of deal, whether
shout out to Boston
or not, remains to be
Appreciate
seen.
you for coming through rocking with me, DA.
But we'll probably end up in some sort of deal. Otherwise, we're probably going to be in this repeated pattern, maybe not during the rest of the Trump administration, but maybe during the next administration, because we're going to have these repeated cycles until either there's some change in the regime in Iran or they simply come to a deal where they decide it's not worth it anymore.
The encyclopedic Alon Burstein with us tonight. Remind people, how can people catch up with your courses and your content?
Look me up on YouTube, the Israel-Palestine Report, or go to israelpalestinereport.com. This weekend, we're also planning an event of 6 months to the war to review everything that has happened, how it happened. So happy to see anyone there.
Friday marks 6 months since the war began. We'll be talking soon, Alon. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. A live look at the White House as we head to a quick commercial break, our first of the hour, 11:08 in D.C. We'll be right back.
I had it on mute, man. I'm tripping, chat. We're going to go over here and watch this about the rescue. Appreciate y'all for joining me. We got 31 people that hit the like button over there on the Freedom of Speech channel. Thank you for hitting that like button. Whatever platform you watching from, I appreciate you. Kick, Twitch, Rumble, Freedom of Speech channel, Uncle Buddy channel, wherever you watching from. We really, really appreciate you. Now, I got to get up to date. As somebody in the chat brought up this Nepal flood, I have to check this out, chat. I got to check it out.
Guys, यस्तो लाइभ छ ओहो पुरा ड्याम फुटेर आयो यार ल त्यसैले बजारै गयो यार ल गयो यार
So just an awful disaster in Asia with video straight out of an apocalyptic movie. Rescue teams now searching for hundreds of missing people all along the Nepal-China border. That includes dozens of Americans this morning. At least 353 people have been confirmed dead so far after catastrophic floods swept through several communities after a believed glacier collapse yesterday. Early before and after photos showed the total scope of that devastation. Jeff Paul is tracking it for us. He's joining us live from London with this. And a word of caution, some of the video you're about to see is disturbing. Jeff, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Bill. With so many still missing, including at least 65 Americans, according to officials in Nepal, there are fears the death toll will only rise. And now new warnings from officials in Nepal that a lake that formed in the floods from a blocked river could soon burst. Now, security camera footage from the Nepal-Tibet border shows people on the ground had only seconds to find safety. A wall of water, mud, and debris swept away people, cars, and buses, as well as many buildings that stood in the way. Those who call this area home are now searching for answers, as well as their missing family members.
We tried calling him again. His phone was unreachable. Then we heard that a landslide had come down. We still don't know whether he's alive because we haven't been able to reach him. My brother has also gone there by car to see if he can find our father. We still have hope that our father may be alive.
Now, initially, the U.S. Geological Survey reported an earthquake in the area minutes before the flash flood. But the USGS now believes it was a powerful landslide that struck. One theory, part of a glacier broke off, triggering an avalanche of ice and rock, which in turn caused the floods. The Red Cross says at least 10,000 families have lost their homes, and rescue efforts could not be more difficult. Roads have been buried in mud, and several of those critical bridges that connect these communities, well, they were ripped away during the floods. We also spoke with a helicopter pilot yesterday in Nepal who was actually flying above the area when disaster struck. He tells us he watched as everything was being swept away and felt helpless not being able to land and aid those in desperate need.
It's devastating, you know, it's devastating. We have never witnessed anything like that. Seeing nature unfold like that, it was really hard for us, you know. We just wanted to get over there, help people out, and get the other rescuers there as soon as possible.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the State Department stands ready to support Nepal with humanitarian aid. The U.S. Embassy in Nepal is also working to account for any U.S. citizens impacted and is in close contact with local authorities. Bill?
Yeah, those poor people just never had a chance. You can see it in that video. Jeff Paul live in London. Jeff, thank you.
Let's bring in Dr. Umesh Aritasha. He's a professor of Earth, Environment, and Sustainability at the University of Dayton. Thanks so much for being here. As they start to figure out what happened, I'm going to show everybody a map here of the landslide and the areas affected. You've studied this area for a good long time, a couple of decades. What do you think happened?
Well, thank you for having me. Well, we know with some certainty at this point in time that the piece of glacier and rock broke off the mountainside and fell almost a kilometer into a river valley. And when it falls back far down, it turns into a fast-moving slurry of ice, rock, and water that ran down the river. So this is a story of a big rock ice avalanche and flowing downhill and devastating everything that was in this in that area.
The power of the water is really something to witness, and we have all of this video that's distressing. Listen to a flood survivor. His name is Janak Badahadur.
Did y'all see that, Chad? It was people down there, bro. When all that water was coming down, Chad, it's people down there. It was people running. Did y'all see that? It was people actually running, trying to get away from that water. Man, may God bless them, bro. Damn.
The river looked small from a distance, but it suddenly started overflowing and swept through this place.
And Doctor, one of the things that we're seeing, of course, is like the personal devastation, the fact that they don't even know how many people are missing. It could be thousands.
Yeah, so the story is about where it landed, in my opinion, because that area has grown significantly. What made it catastrophic, in my view, is the valley below now holds a highway, a border crossing, 14 or 15 hydropower projects. This is a tourist season, so the hazard grew. Exposure has also grown significantly in last many decades. So think about a large block of ice falling about 1,000 meters down. So think about more than 3 times the height of Eiffel Tower. It generated the energy, and that energy just swept everything in that valley and flooded downstream.
Doctor, you said that you documented something with your colleagues in 2021 in a similar area on a high, steep slope, the converse of devastating flow far downstream. And you said it's not a surprise that it happened in this valley. You've been warning about it. What was the warning?
Well, so in 2021, similar incident happened in India. So think about the broader Himalayan region. And because of the recent warming, the area itself has gone through tremendous changes. So there are several hundreds of such similar areas all across the Himalayan mountain. We documented something similar happened in 2021 over in India, and that was very devastating as well. Although the number of casualty here seems much higher just because of the location, but also maybe because the total mass that detached from the bedrock may be very high. We still have a preliminary estimate, so we don't know the whole detail, but some estimates suggest something like several hundred swimming pool worth of ice that detached from that area.
Yeah.
So this is not new, and this is not new for this area, unfortunately.
Yeah. Dr. Haritasha, thank you so much for being with us. We pray for the people there and their well-being. Thank you.
So tragedy unfolding in Nepal and Tibet, where at least 353 people are dead following catastrophic flooding, likely
Yeah, what tripped me out, chat, was those people that were running when that big wave of water was coming down. Can you imagine being the one running, knowing that knowing that you're not going to survive? That big old wave of water was coming down. That big old wave of water was coming down, and people were actually running. May God bless them, man. If y'all were really watching, you can see it was real small, but people were running when that big old wave of water broke the bridge, then came on down. People actually took off running. Man, 335 so far, 335 people, 1,300 missing. It's crazy. But I think I'm in the stream right here, chat. We've been on live almost 2 hours. It's 10:20. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. You know, everybody that's been coming through rocking with me, I appreciate y'all. We got over 30 likes, a really, 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 really good stream, 32 likes. Appreciate y'all for hitting that like button. Appreciate everybody for coming through rocking with me. Today was a beautiful day. How was today a beautiful day, Stock Sniper? We got our monetization back. We got our monetization back today. You know, I lost my monetization about 3 months ago, and for some stuff that I did. But today we got it back, you know. So today was a really, 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 really good day, you know. But the thing is, about the 3 months, I learned more about streaming. You know, I started streaming on other platforms, you know, and in a way, me losing the monetization was a good thing. Why, Stock Sniper? Because I wasn't thinking about streaming on other platforms. I was only concerned about YouTube. But when that monetization hit and they took it, I started exploring being a streamer, which is streaming from different type of platforms, like what I'm doing right now. I'm on Twitch, I'm on Kick, I'm on Rumble, you know, I'm on YouTube, you know, I could be on Instagram, TikTok. You know, it's about being a streamer, you know, streaming on multiple platforms. So the 90 days, it taught me something. It taught me about streaming. Because like I say, I'm only a sophomore on YouTube. So I have to learn about different things to get better at streaming. So that's what happened. And I got it back today. So it was a big W, big W, big W. Not only because I got the monetization back, but I educated myself these 90 days on other platforms. So I like to shout out to everybody on Kick, Twitch, Rumble. You know what I'm saying? I like to shout out to y'all. You know, y'all starting to rock with me. You know, I'm going to start doing Kick-only streams. I'm going to start doing Rumble-only streams. I'm gonna spread it out because the people over there on Kick, you know, Kick is a lot different. So I have to, you know, do Kick only streams, you know. So and that's what I plan. That's what I plan on doing. You know, recently I just been streaming on all these platforms through the streaming service, but now YouTube gave me my monetization back. I'm gonna stream everywhere. I'm not going to say, well, hey, I got my monetization back on YouTube. I'm going to just stick with YouTube. No. I have upgraded from being a YouTuber to a streamer. So all YouTubers, it would be a good idea to explore Kick. Kick has a better paying platform, in my opinion. Why, Stock Sniper? Because Kick pays, once you get monetized, Kick pays by the hour. That's what happens. That's why you see a lot of these streamers, they stream all day. And you be wondering, why is this dude streaming all day? It's because they get paid by the hour. So not only do they get the percentage of the subscriber count, but they also get paid by the hour over there on Kick. So if YouTube didn't take my monetization, I would have never knew that. I'd have stuck on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning as I go. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning as I go, and I've learned a lot. So shout out to YouTube. They gave me my monetization back today. I just got it back. If you look, you see all the bells and whistles are back. The super chat button, the gift button, all that's back. So today was a great day. YouTube gave me my monetization back. But more importantly, which is more than that, I'm a streamer now. I'm not just a YouTuber. I'm everywhere. I'm on Kick. I'm on Rumble. I'm on Twitch. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere. Except Facebook. I don't do Facebook. But I'm on Kick, Twitch, Rumble, all the streaming services. I'm there. Right now, I'm live on Kick. I'm live on Rumble. And I'm live on Twitch. I'm live on 2 different YouTube channels. So right now I'm streaming from 5 different platforms. So today was a lovely, lovely day. So what time is it? It's about to be 10:30. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with the OG. T Mitch, Kick, yeah. Snuffles TV, Mother Nature wins again. Yeah, Snuffles TV, that was crazy, bro. What tripped me out was when that water broke the bridge, those people that were running. You know what I'm saying? That tripped me out, man. May God bless that. May God bless them. It's a lot going on in the world, bro. You got half of America in a heat wave. The other part of America is burning. Floods, earthquakes, all kind of stuff is going on in the world. A lot, bro. We got the war in Iran still going on right now. The Straits with the oil, all that stuff is happening. It's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. And guess what, chat? In my opinion, it's going to get worse. You know, it's going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's 10:30. I'm an old man. It's my bedtime. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Subscribe to the channel. Whatever platform you on, subscribe to the channel. Cut on all the post notifications. If you over there on Kick, make sure you follow me on Kick. Give me a good follow. I'm starting to like Kick. I like Kick better than I like YouTube. You know, which that's what Charleston White told me. He told me that Kick is better than YouTube. Kick is more streamer friendly. You know what I'm saying? Kick is, you know, and as I've been on Kick for the past 3 months now, I see. You know, I see. So YouTube content creators, go explore Kick. See if you like it. Go look at the pay structure. You know what I'm saying? If you get people to subscribe / become a member, you get 95% of the money. On YouTube, you only get 50. You know what I'm saying? On Kick, you get 95%. So if you got 10 members, and to be a member on Kick is $5. That's $50. You get majority of the 50. On YouTube, if you got a $5 membership, you're only getting $2.50. You're only getting $25. So it's a big difference. And plus on Kick, they pay their streamers by the hour. Once you get monetized, and it ain't like YouTube. YouTube, you got to get 1,000 subs and all. It ain't like that on Kick. So once you get monetized on Kick, not only do you get paid off of the gifts and the subscriptions, you also get paid by the hour. Now, from my understanding, each streamer's hourly pay is different. That's why you see a lot of these guys streaming all day. And then on Kick, they get paid every week. Klansman, this is just so damn sad. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, clans. You know, especially the part where all that water came and broke the bridge and people was running, bro. Knowing that, hey, it's over with. Yeah, it's sad, man. So far, 353 people lost their lives and 1,300 people are missing. Shout out to the person in the chat that let me know about this. Because I haven't really been on my worldly, you know, I haven't been paying attention to what's going on around the world that much lately. For the past maybe month, I haven't been paying attention to what's going on around the world. So a lot of this stuff, I'm just now finding out. So we back on it now, chat. We back on it. And you know, and if you like this type of stuff, this is the Freedom of Speech channel. I'm just the host. You know, I'm just the host, the one and only Stock Sniper. This is the Freedom of Speech channel. You know, I appreciate y'all for coming over here, rocking with me. You know, you can say whatever you want to say in the chat. We are big on freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is one of the main foundations of America. Freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, is the foundation of this great country which we call America. Of course, the freedom of speech, you know, you can't go to a job where you can go to your job, you can go to a job and say whatever you want to say, but at the same time, it's consequences and repercussions when it comes to the freedom of speech. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody has the freedom of speech, but what you say, do you stand on what you say, or do you just bump? You know what I'm saying? When you exercise your freedom of speech, it has to be about morals and principles, not just bluffing to be talking just to be talking. You know what I'm saying? That's why I stand on freedom of speech. I stand on my morals and principles. I stand on and I pay attention to what comes up out of my mouth. Why, Stock Sniper? Because I'm willing to lose it all behind my morals and principles and what I say out of my mouth. That's how you got to look at it. You know, when it comes to talking and running your mouth, you have to really be about what you're talking about. That's what freedom of speech is all about. Shout out to the military. Shout out to our soldiers that continue to be on the battleground to protect our freedoms, protect our freedom of speech, protect our rights to bear arms, protect our rights to vote for whoever you want to vote for. So I take highly on what I say out of my mouth because I'm willing to die for my morals and principles and what I stand for. That's why I pay attention to what I say. Very, very important. That's how you gotta look at it. Take it from the OG. That's how you gotta look at it. You gotta watch what you say. When you have a conversation, you gotta stand on morals and principles of what you're talking about. And that's what it is. And what you say, even though it's the freedom of speech, is consequences and repercussions for what you say. And you got to be able to stand on that. You got to be able to stand on that. So yeah, chat, I think I'm going to end it right here. If you have not subscribed, if you have not hit the follow, make sure you do that and do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Hit that follow button. Frank Glover, what's going on? What's up? Yeshua 100. Exit the Matrix. Appreciate y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all for coming through and rocking with the OG tonight. You could be anywhere else, but you come rock with me. You come and comment, and I appreciate y'all. Great day today, chat. I got my monetization back. Not only that, I learned about streaming. These 90 days, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about streaming. I learned about a lot of these different social media platforms. Hello, brother. Hey, what's up? I learned a lot about these different social media platforms and how to monetize. I learned a lot. So YouTube taking my monetization was a blessing because I had to get in line and get everything back in order, and they gave it back to me. So, but I learned. The main thing I got out of it is I learned. So see, I always talk about the back end. The back end is that I'm a streamer now. I'm not just a YouTuber. It's a difference. A YouTuber, all they do is just cut on the live button from their phone. A streamer got a whole setup, got bells and whistles, got microphones, their own different platforms. You know what I'm saying? They stream on different platforms. They stream what's going on in real life. I like real life streaming. I like doing that. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm a sophomore. I'm just a sophomore. I just started taking YouTube serious going on 3 years. So I'm learning a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I consume my time with learning. I worry about the rest on the back end. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I got to say to new YouTubers. You got to treat this as a learning experience, and then you got to treat it as a business as well. And then you got to worry about that. The rest comes on the back end. Education. Keep up the good work. You learn as much as you want. You have the skills. Appreciate you, Yeshua. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming through and rocking with me. You know what I'm saying? So it's 10:30 at night, chat. Past my bedtime. I gotta go. I will be live in the morning. The Stock Sniper Morning Show, bright and early, 8 a.m. right before the stock market open. At 8 a.m. I will be going live. The Stock Sniper Morning Show. So if you on Kick, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, both channels, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that follow button and come rock with me. I believe in you. Appreciate you, Yeshua. Come rock with me in the morning. Everybody that come rock with me on the walk down. I love and I appreciate y'all. Exercising, health and fitness, working on your mental health, educating yourself, and educating your family, and educate other people, other like-minded people. Because everybody can't go, chat. Everybody can't go. You know what I'm saying? And this all, when it comes to streaming, you YouTubers and streamers is just starting. It's a learning experience. You got to go to school. You have to take it like you educating yourself. You got to take it like you educating yourself. Like I say, I'm barely a junior. I'm in my junior year of YouTube school, and I'm learning. I'm learning a lot. And guess what? I'm going to take it nice and slow. Why? Because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Now I've been, thanks to Charleston White, shout out to him, I've been introduced to Kick. And man, that's a whole nother world over there on Kick. So shout out to Charleston White. Shout out to Kick. And another thing, Chad, I'm working on an interview with Anthony Dewberry. You know, I've been talking to him on the phone. I'm trying to get in contact with Charleston White, but he haven't hit me back yet. So we're gonna interview. We're gonna do a real life interview with Dewberry. I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to West Dallas, and I'm going to do an interview with Charleston White's best friend Dewberry. I was just waiting to get my monetization back. And guess what? I got it back today. I got the monetization back today, and now I know how to move. I know how to rock and roll. I like sports and all these things. I can't stream the sporting events. I can't do that. So we ready to rock and roll now, chat. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm going to end the stream right now. We got 19 people in the building, a 2-hour stream. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. We got how many likes? 39 likes on this stream. If we can get one more like, because you know I'm about numbers. All I need is one more like to even it out. If we can get an even 40 likes, I'll be blessed. It's a W. If we can get to even 40 likes, it's a W. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep it going, chat. We're going to keep it going. All younger YouTubers, I'm here to help you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to start doing that too. I'm going to start helping younger streamers. I'm going to start helping. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people give up on YouTube because they get all drunk by views. They get all drunk by the subscribers. You know, but you have to stream and talk about what you like. That's what make it easy. Once you stream and talk about what you like, it'll all work out. And you got to realize it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You have to have a plan with everything. You got to have a plan, a long-term goal, a long-term plan. And you have to educate yourself, the do's and don'ts. And whenever you get a step back, you keep going and take 2 steps forward. Like as an example, when I lost my monetization 3 months ago, I didn't complain. I kept on making videos. And when I wasn't making videos, I was educating myself. I was figuring it out. I was talking to other streamers. I was putting me a whole plan together. I was learning other platforms. That's how I learned about Kick, Twitch, and Rumble. Not focusing on YouTube no more, because all I was doing was focusing on YouTube. I was a YouTuber. These 90 days graduated me from being a YouTuber to a streamer. That's what I am now. I'm a streamer and I love it. It fits right in it fits right in with what I already do every day. I exercise. I eat right. I talk about what's going on around the world. I talk about the stock market. I talk about the economy. I already got it set up. So it fits right in. So, man, it ain't nothing but moving forward the rest of this year. 2026, one of my best years. One of my best years was 2026. So we already planning for 2027 right now. We're already planning for 2027. So I think I'm gonna end it right here, chat. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Everybody that's been rocking with the channel, I love and I appreciate you. New subscribers, old subscribers, I love and I appreciate you. All the old subscribers, I really love and I appreciate y'all because y'all are the foundation. Back when I had 20, 30 subscribers, 50 subscribers, 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, y'all is the foundation of what Stock Sniper TV, the Freedom of Speech channel, is fixing to become. Because guess what? It's going to be ups and downs, but I ain't tripping. Why? Because I got a long-term plan. I got a long-term goal, and I understand it's going to be ups and downs. Losing the monetization was the first down. Just like the stock market, it goes up and down. So now, got the monetization back, learned about other platforms. Now we back on the up. Just like the stock market, we hitting all-time highs. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's been rocking with the channel, I love and I appreciate y'all. Everybody that came in here and chatted, everybody that made a comment, I love and I appreciate y'all. If you didn't comment and you watching in the bushes, I love and I appreciate y'all. Earn, spend less, make proper investments. And yes, your health, your mental health, your physical health is an investment. So with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. Chat to the next one. I'm out. Y'all have a great night.